There's this prevailing understanding that as humans, we're often not the best decision makers, as we tend to use subconscious thought processes that are instinctual and sometimes illogical. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the nudge theory, which is a behavioral science concept that uses our natural decision making processes to help nudge us towards making better decisions. And this is incredibly interesting from a digital experience perspective, because as designers, we could utilize nudges in web design to guide people to make choices in their best interests. It's these small changes that we could design into web experiences, when used to the right intention, that could promote a positive and beneficial outcome for customers, and by extension, impact whether or not these customers engage with a brand and convert. So let's talk about the nudge theory and the 5 different ways nudges could be applied to digital experiences. Let's begin with what a nudge is. In 2008, behavioral economist Richard Thaler and legal scholar Cass Sunstein came up with their book called Nudge, Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness. In the book, they describe a nudge as a minor design feature that influences our decision-making process in predictable ways. But for it to be a nudge, we must ensure that this design intervention is simple, but also easy to avoid and doesn't change people's economic incentives. Because nudges are not rules or laws or any kind of firm attempt to change behavior. It's basically a little encouragement to make the user think or do something that they may not have otherwise done. There are many examples of the nudge theory being put into practice all over the world. One of Thaler's favorite examples dates back to the 1990s and is set in an airport in Amsterdam. It was noticed that the floor of the men's restroom was getting a bit sticky. An economist working in the airport came up with the idea to etch a little housefly into each urinal above the drain. And this proceeded to act as a subtle nudge that effectively engaged people out of their normal routine because, as it turns out, when men saw the little housefly, they perceived it as a target and wanted to hit it. And just like that, the spillage in the restroom apparently reduced by 80%. This little housefly is now a widely copied design around the world now. When it comes to digital nudges, research conducted shows that there are 5 primary types of nudges. Number 1, facilitation nudge. A facilitation nudge reduces the physical or mental effort needed to choose the more ideal option. This could be done by providing users with a default option and then providing an opt-out. An example of this is how our printers are usually set to double-sided printing as the default in order to get us to use less paper. We can understand how this works well, as by default, our brains are wired to prefer the easier option. Number 2, reinforcement nudge. Reinforcement nudges remind us about optimal behavior. Apple smartwatch users will remember the stand reminder, which gives users a notification to stand up and move around every once in a while as a nudge to get users to be a bit more healthy. Some car brands like Mercedes gives its driver a visual and sound-based reminder to take a driving break when it detects small irregularities or errors in their driving pattern, which is fantastic as it helps to jolt drowsy drivers into taking beneficial action. Number 3, confrontation nudges. Confrontation nudges work to create doubt in the user's action. This is done by utilizing the regret aversion bias, or our tendency to be more careful decision makers in order to avoid future regret. As an example, if you've ever tried creating a post or any type of content on the social media apps like TikTok, Instagram, or Snapchat, and tried quitting the action before you posted the content, these apps give you a notification to ask you if you want to lose your Snapstapees. It is effective in getting you to reconsider whether you actually want to discard your post. Although the jury is still out on whether this is a beneficial nudge or not. Other examples of this type of nudge we may have come across is when you close a file on any type of software like Word or Excel or Photoshop, and it asks you if you're sure if you want to close the file before saving. Number 4, deception nudges. Deception nudges alter how we perceive alternatives or how we experience an activity. And this is usually done with the goal of promoting a particular outcome. The researchers were able to motivate the purchase of a specific laptop on an e-com site by placing this laptop next to two others, one of which was higher quality and more expensive, and the other one of lower quality and price. So you can understand how this also uses the anchoring effect in motivating people to choose the middle option. Number 5, social influence. Now, one of our previous videos spoke about social proofing and how effective it is at influencing our decisions. Social influence nudges leverage our desire to conform to social norms. There are so many apps that use this type of nudge, and I think Duolingo is one of the earlier ones that started using social influence nudges really well. It does it by encouraging you to build on your daily learning streak, climb up the leaderboard, and complete challenges within your friend circle. So these are the 5 different types of nudges that can be designed in digital experiences with the goal of encouraging people to choose the optimal behavior. But the last thing that needs to be said on this topic is that not all nudges are designed with beneficial behavior in mind. There are so many companies out there that misuse nudges in a way that does not work in people's best interests. The authors of the book, Thaler and Sunstein, appropriately call this type of nudge a sludge. Ethical design is something that the team here at Pomegranate is very passionate about. We believe in using behavioral design in a way that promotes positive behavior change while helping connect businesses to their customers. So on that note, hope this brings you one step closer to designing effective nudges that promotes positive behavior for your customers.